Hello. Today I'm going to introduce you to a pricing tool called the Westendorp Price Sensitivity Meter. The name sounds intimidating, but I promise it isn't. It's really just 4 questions and 1 chart. By the end of this, you'll know how to find a sensible price for almost any product by simply asking your customers the right way. Let's start with why pricing is so hard in the first place. So how do you decide what to charge for something? Most people fall back on one of 3 things. They guess and hope, they copy whatever competitors are doing, or they just go with their gut. The trouble is, none of those are based on what your actual customers think. There's a better, more structured way to get that answer, and that's what we're here to learn. Here's the key shift in thinking. Don't ask customers for one perfect price, because honestly, they can't tell you that. What they can tell you is when something feels too cheap, when it feels like a fair deal, when it starts feeling pricey, and when it's flat out too expensive. Westendorp takes those gut feelings about a range and turns them into a real pricing recommendation. So what exactly is the Westendorp Price Sensitivity Meter? It's a survey-based tool that finds 2 things: an acceptable price range for your product and an ideal price within that range. And here's the reassuring part. There's no complex math involved. It's literally 4 questions you can ask your customers and 1 chart you build from their answers. That's the whole method. Everything starts with these 4 questions. First, the too cheap question. At what price would this be so low you'd actually doubt its quality? Second, the bargain question. At what price would this feel like a great deal? Third, getting expensive. At what price does it start to feel pricey, but you'd still consider it? And fourth, too expensive. At what price would you simply not buy it? Notice each one has a color. Keep an eye on those because they follow us through the whole chart. Let's make this real with an example we'll use the whole way through. Pricing a premium coffee subscription. We send out our survey, and here's how 1 customer answers. They'd find it too cheap at $10 a month, a bargain at $20, getting expensive at $32, and too expensive at $50. Now picture hundreds of people answering those same 4 questions. That pile of answers is the data we're about to turn into a chart. Let's build the chart 1 step at a time so it never feels overwhelming. Along the bottom we have price, dollars per month, and up the side we have the percentage of people. Let's start with just the 2 cheap answers. Too cheap in blue and bargain in green. Notice both of these lines slope downward. That makes sense. As price climbs, fewer and fewer people are going to call it cheap. Now let's add the other 2 answers. Getting expensive in orange and too expensive in red. These 2 slope the opposite way, upward. Again, that's intuitive. The higher the price goes, the more people start calling it expensive. And that's it. All 4 lines are now on the chart. It looks complicated from a distance, but built piece by piece, it's just 4 simple trends. Here's where the magic happens, where these lines cross. The first 2 crossings give us our outer boundaries. The lower one, around $18, is the floor. Price below this, and people start to doubt the quality, thinking, what's wrong with it? The upper one, around $42, is the ceiling. Price above this, and too many people simply walk away. So already, just from where lines intersect, we've got a price floor and a price ceiling. Two more crossing points us toward the sweet spot inside that range. The first, around $25, is the optimal price point, and that's where an equal number of people say it's too cheap and too expensive. So it's the point of least resistance. The second, around $30, is the indifference price point, where cheap and expensive balance out. That one often lines up with the typical going price in the market. Let's pull it together. The shaded bands between our floor and ceiling, roughly $18 to $42, is your comfort zone. Price anywhere inside this band and most of your customers feel good about it. Stray below it and the product feels suspiciously cheap. Stray above it and it feels out of reach. So this zone is your safe playing field, and the points we found tell you where to aim within it. So what does all of this actually tell us about our coffee subscription? Our acceptable price range is $18 to $42 a month. Our optimal price, the point of least resistance, is around $25, and a typical market price sits around $30. In a few slides we've gone from "I have no idea what to charge" to a clear, defensible starting price. And it came straight from what customers told us. Let me be honest about what this tool does and doesn't do. On the plus side, it's cheap, it's fast, it's easy for anyone to understand, and it's grounded in real customer input. But it has its limits. It measures attitudes, not what people actually pay at the checkout. It ignores your own costs and what competitors charge, and assumes people answer honestly. So treat it as a strong starting point for pricing, not the final word. If you take away 4 things, take these. 1, it's just 4 simple questions. 2, the crossing points do all the work for you. 3, aim to price inside the acceptable range. And 4, always validate against real sales before you lock anything in. Do that and you've got a customer-backed pricing you can actually defend. Thank you for watching.